level 138 in progress.
Hello everybody, this is Jacob Hiller and we are answering a commonly asked question today, and that question is, what does it feel like to overtrain? Okay, now this is overtraining is probably the most common error found in training, or at least one of the most common errors. Definitely top 3 to halt your progress. And a lot of people think that overtraining is that feeling you have the next day when you're sore all over. Oh, I'm sore all over. I just trained. Did I overtrain yesterday? Maybe I overtrained, but that's a different type of thing. And let me explain the difference. And there's really 2 ways to think about this. One is overreaching and one is overtraining. And what's very common is overtraining. And the difference is one is more of a short-term and one is more long-term. For example, short-term overtraining or overreaching is when you train too hard in one day, and so the next day you're fatigued, you're sore, maybe for a few days afterwards, maybe for a week, and that's really just going to be a fairly normal occurrence where you're just sore the next day, and really your body's just depleted of glycogen. I mean, your muscles have been broken down and you're just in a state where your body needs proper nutrition, needs proper recovery, needs proper sleep. And as long as you provide those things, then you kind of recover and all is well. And as we talk about, training progression is kind of an ebb and flow of breaking down muscles, taxing and stressing the nervous system, and building it back up. So you're kind of going up and down. Your vertical goes up and down, but it makes kind of a constant, steady, long-term upward progress. Now, overtraining or long-term overtraining is a little bit different. Now, this is when you don't supply the necessary time, the necessary circumstances to recover. So maybe you'll train one day, then you'll train again the next day, then you'll train again the next day. Now your body's being broken down. You're taxing your central nervous system. You're depleting glycogen, all these things, and your body is requiring that you recover all of these systems. And when you don't do that on a repeated basis, your body will begin to not perform. You'll feel fatigue, you'll feel lack of motivation, all these things. And this is really where most people overtrain. They're just too excited, they just do too much work and not enough recovery. So what I like to tell people, instead of thinking of it as overtraining, you should think of it as under recovering. Because if you're able to recover from your workouts and provide the proper nutrition, the proper rest, and the proper circulation of the blood, all those things after your training, then you're going to have a nice progression going on. You're going to allow the super compensatory effects of your training to take place, and you're going to go, you're going to train, and so you're going to break things down, and you're going to go up. You're going to recover, and you're going to have a higher vertical. Then you're going to train again. It's going to break things down, and then you're going to super compensate. So you're going to be making that steady path upwards. Now, I just want to kind of break overtraining into 2 or 3 different areas. One of them is the muscular system. So what happens is when you break down your muscles by putting tension and strain on the muscles, the theory goes that there are small, what are called myotears or micro tears in the muscle, and your body builds them back up. So when you overtrain your muscular system is when you break down the muscles or get these small micro tears, which aren't injuries, but they are micro tears, and these tears are recovered during the recovery process. So when you overtrain the muscular system, you're not going to be recovering these muscles and building these muscles back up. Okay, so one way to know if you're overtraining the muscular system is by looking at your lifts, by tracking your progress on your lifts. If you see that your strength is going down and it's staying down, that might be one indicator that you're overtraining the muscular system. Now you can also overtrain the central nervous system. So you should think of the central nervous system as the battery kind of for your body. So basically electrical charges are taking place in your body, and when you start outputting all this electricity, think of that battery as needing to be recharged. It's not having the energy. The light's getting dim. I mean, there's just not that voltage that you need in your body, so to speak. So when you're training hard and using all this electricity and you're not, so to speak, recharging your battery, then you're not going to be able to innervate and contract the muscles like you should be able to. So this takes place with proper nutrition, with proper sleep, with proper recovery, allowing your central nervous system to recover. So one way to know if your central nervous system is recovering is, again, to track your progress. If you're noticing that your strength is still going up, but you're feeling fatigued, you're feeling lack of motivation, you're just feeling kind of sluggish, chances are your central nervous system is not being completely recovered. And lastly, one thing that can confuse this whole mix-up is not getting proper nutrition, period. If you're low on carbohydrate and glycogen storage, you're going to feel sluggish. You're not going to feel like you're at your best. And so in order to kind of get balanced, you need to have proper nutrition in this whole mix, so that you know that you're providing your muscles with the proper fuel to recover and also to perform. So we've talked about the muscular system, the central nervous system, and getting a proper diet. These are things that are important for you to make long-term progress and to avoid exhausting and not recovering your body. There are different ways to test your central nervous system and the other systems as well, like tap tests and such as that. But I would recommend the number one thing you do is track all your progress. If you're a member of the Jump Manual, you have the tracking sheets, which allow you every day to see how you're performing. And by using the daily tracking sheets, you get kind of a constant bead, or your progress is on your radar at all times, so you can see, hey, wait a minute, I'm not gaining progress, or I'm losing progress, or it's fairly normal to lose and gain progress during a week's time or from a day-to-day basis, but you're going to be able to track that very easily from a bird's eye view, so to speak. And very exciting is we have mobile phone tracking coming out very soon. So you're going to be able to track and view your workout and your progress and graphs and everything right from your mobile phone, whether it's an iPhone or a BlackBerry or whatever it is. You're going to be able to do all of that from your mobile phone. So that's pretty exciting. Anyways, the take-home message here is, how does overtraining feel? Well, it doesn't feel like soreness. That's usually going to be normal. What it does feel like is that you feel sluggish, that you feel like heavy on your feet, that you feel lack of motivation, that things just aren't going well, and your body needs to recover. And what you probably need to do is a full or partial deload. Now, a deload is when you take a week or more off of training, completely or partially. So you might reduce the volume of the exercises you're doing, you might reduce the intensity of the exercises you're doing, or you might reduce the volume and the intensity of the exercises you're doing, or you might completely take a week or more off of training to let your body recover it, instead of continuing to break it down without allowing the super compensatory processes to take over. I know I say that a lot, but it's important, because that's when your gains actually happen. They don't happen in the gym. So I hope this answers your question about how does it feel to overtrain. And again, to get that objective view of whether or not you're overtraining, track your progress, even if you're going to do it even if you're going to have other methods of testing your central nervous system, muscular system, nutrition. Also make sure you're tracking, because it's just another way to get a bead on your progress. So hope that helps. If you have questions, please subscribe to my channel, rate my videos, appreciate that, or ask more questions on my channel by clicking Ask Jacob. So hope to talk to you soon.